When you're doing dropshipping, especially if you're thinking about dropshipping for a long-term perspective, you got to think about the payments because payments can really eat away at your profit margin if you don't pay attention. So in today's conversation, I want to talk to you about dropshipping payments. I want to explain to you everything you got to know if you want to get in this business, or you are already in this business and you are looking for ways to minimize your dropshipping payment cost. Okay, so here's a review I really want you to pay attention to. So there are some terms, dropshipping payment terms you should know. You got to know this because, boss, again, if you are in this game for a long run, those terms will come back at you all the time. So payment gateway. So a payment gateway is basically software that encrypts a customer's sensitive information. So if you think about it, it's essentially a bridge between your store and the company that processes your payments. So when a customer enters their payment information on the checkout page, the payment gateway sends the transaction details to the payment processor over a secure channel. Okay, so this is for payment gateway. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. And one thing I want to say here is that when we talk about dropshipping payment terms, you also need to know about payment processor. So a payment processor is basically a financial institution that handles transactions between a merchant and a customer. It acts as a channel between the customer, merchant, issuing bank, payment gateway, and acquiring bank. So once your customer makes a purchase, the payment gateway approves or declines the payment depending on several factors. If it is approved, it transfers the data to a payment processor, who then processes the payment. So this is kind of important to know, like all the different layers of I would say, of duties and tasks that are rendered. Okay. One thing I want to say here is that when we talk about payment gateway, here a payment gateway allows you to make online transactions through different payment methods. And a payment gateway is a third party that conducts secure and safe transactions between the customer's bank and your bank. Okay. For example, you have Stacks, you have authorized.net. What about a payment processor? So payment processor processes payments and acts as a mediator between your customer, the customer's bank, and the payment gateway, you also, and your bank. So it approves transactions and ensures the timely transfer of funds to you. For example, you have Braintree, you have Square. So although payment gateway and payment processors perform different tasks, many companies provide both solutions as a single package. For example, you have PayPal and Stripe. And besides, it's best to choose such providers because they handle the entire transaction from start to end. Let me give you the approach I really want you to pay attention to. So how do dropshipping payments really work? So the dropshipping payment system is pretty simple. So when you, the dropshipping store owner, let's say you receive an order from a customer, you simply contact the supplier, right? Who then ships the products directly to the customer's doorstep. Pretty simple. Everybody knows that. This is dropshipping 101. Okay. But who pays first? You or the supplier? Let's start from the very beginning to understand how dropshipping payment work. To quickly understand it, here is really what I want you to picture. Let's say you accept payments from your customers. So when a visitor wants to buy a product from your online store, they add the product to their cart and initiate checkout. So during checkout, they add their shipping address and pay for the order using a credit card, PayPal, or a similar payment option. The payment gateway at that point and payment processor also make sure the customer's payment information gets to the bank safely. Depending on your customer's payment option, it can take 1 to 5 business days for the payment to reach your bank account. Although some banks take, let's say, 2 to 3 days to process payments, most credit card companies process payments almost instantly. Especially nowadays with the technology we have, it's just crazy how fast things can move, okay? And so, by the way, boss, let me quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a convo about dropshipping payments. I'm explaining to you everything so you have a clear idea what you're getting yourself into before actually choosing a payment gateway, okay? So, first thing first, you accept payments from your customers. What about the second part? You pay your dropshipping supplier. So after you receive payments from your customer, it's time to buy your customer's products from your dropshipping supplier. For that, you need to pay your supplier. And most payment systems don't transfer money to your supplier automatically when you receive an order. So you need to pay your supplier separately. Now you might wonder when to pay your dropshipping supplier. Should you wait when they actually deliver the product, or do you have to pay them right away? It depends on the agreement that you have. Okay, if you want the customer to receive the order quickly, you need to actually pay your supplier right away, right? And thanks to Amazon Prime, for example, most customers now expect a delivery time of 1 to 2 business days. So while such short shipping times may not be possible for you, placing your customer's order with the supplier as soon as possible makes more sense. That's because the supplier will not process your order until they receive payments. Remember, they need to be paid too. Okay, so this is important. So you got to understand that most dropshipping suppliers accept credit cards, but you should still check with them to know their preferred methods. So let's say if you're using a local supplier, you can pay with your credit card or PayPal account. As you know, bank-to-bank transfers have a high processing fee and time also. So it's best to really avoid them. Okay. So think about what really works for you. The third thing you have to do here is to pay for other business expenses. Because when we talk about dropshipping payments, it's not just about the money you're paying to the supplier. You also have to think, you have a business to run. All those software tools, all those admin tools, all those accounting software tools, whatever you have to pay for them too, utilities and whatnot. So once you have paid your supplier, you need to set aside some money for your other business expenses. So here, this might seem like as a dropshipper, there are not major expenses, but the truth is, even minor expenses can add up very quickly, boss, very, very quickly. So common business expenses for a dropshipping store include advertising, transaction fees, website maintenance, e-commerce platform cost, plugins, and taxes. So when we talk about e-commerce platform costs, we're speaking about, your subscription to maybe Shopify, to Wix, to BigCommerce, to WooCommerce, to Big Cartel, to Wix. I've said this before, to GoDaddy Commerce. Okay, so you have to think about Squarespace, Square Online, and number 4, you keep the profits. So the amount that remains after all the expenses is your profit. If you're not profitable after paying all your expenses, you need to strategize to reduce costs and increase revenue. So you have to think about, for example, are you selling the right products? Because it's all about. This is a business. If people don't want your products, you're not going to make money. So you got to really sit down and say, you know what, am I in the right niche, for example, and am I doing proper research in terms of sourcing, in terms of quality? What is my customer service? What is my ideal customer journey? Is it fast? Do people get the product they order real fast? So I want you to you need to strategize. You need to brainstorm to see how to constantly increase your business revenue, your dropshipping business revenue. Even if you're profitable, let me tell you something. Even if you're profitable, you still need to constantly strategize, because you don't want to sit on your laurels. You can have a newbie come and just snap you out of this market. No, this is a competitive market, and I don't care where you are at. If you are in somewhere in Seattle, Washington State, or you are somewhere in Nigeria, or somewhere in South Africa, somewhere in Guatemala, somewhere in Vietnam, you still have to compete with a global constellation of dropshippers. Here are the steps I want you to follow right now. So how do you get paid as a dropshipper? Let's have a conversation about that. So as a dropshipper, your store must offer a variety of payment methods to make it easy for clients to pay for their orders, right? So besides bank transfers, credit cards, or debit card payments, there are many more payment options you should offer on your dropshipping website. This is because 50% of customers will cancel an order if their preferred payment method is unavailable. So the easiest way to offer multiple payment options is to set up a payment gateway. You want to set up a payment gateway, okay? So here is a breakdown of the different payment gateways and methods that you can use for your dropshipping store. So first we have PayPal. Not a problem, very, very good. So PayPal is probably the most popular payment gateway for dropshippers and customers. It is accepted and available in more than 200 countries, making it the ideal choice for your dropshipping store. And PayPal supports all major credit cards such as American Express, MasterCard, and Visa. You can use PayPal by itself or combine it with other payment gateways such as Stripe and Apple Pay. Okay. And by the way, boss, I just want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a convo about dropshipping payments, so you have a clear idea what you're getting yourself into. And so the other player I want to talk to you about is Stripe. So Stripe is another popular payment gateway for that small businesses as well as corporations use. And Stripe is available in 25 countries and offers Shopify and WooCommerce integration. So like PayPal, Stripe supports all major credit cards and is quite popular in Australia, Canada, and the UK. So Stripe does allow dropshipping only if your business is based outside Asia Pacific or Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. Okay, and if your business is located in the United States, Stripe accepts dropshipping payments. This is kind of cool. And one thing I want to say here is that you have to also make sure that if you want to work with Stripe, make sure that you don't get banned. Okay, you want to choose good suppliers. You want to prevent customer disputes as much as possible, because Stripe does not like it if you have multiple customer disputes. If they see that, they will ban you really, really quick. So choose good suppliers, and you want to provide stellar customer service, because customers will file chargebacks when they don't receive orders on time or they receive incorrect orders. That's why you must keep in touch with your customer throughout the shipping process. Okay, and this is kind of important. Another player I want to talk to you about is Shopify Payments. So Shopify Payments is Shopify's very own payment gateway that allows Shopify merchants to accept credit card payments online. And Shopify Payments is very easy to set up. But the problem is right now, this service is only available in the following countries: Australia, Canada, Germany, Ireland, United Kingdom, and United States. Okay, hopefully in the future they'll actually extend the program to other countries, but right now it is what it is. And you can use Shopify Payments for dropshipping, since Shopify actively encourages the dropshipping business model. Okay, and you just need to be a Shopify merchant and operate your business from one of the supported countries. That's it. And so Shopify Payments does not hold your money. You'll receive a customer payment in your bank account the same business day. However, you have the option to schedule your payouts. So once you change your payout schedule, pending payouts are delayed until your next schedule date. So there are two countries that have different payout schedule rules. So Shopify stores in France cannot customize your payout schedule, and the payouts for Japanese Shopify stores are scheduled on Fridays by default, but they can choose to be paid weekly or monthly. So this is totally up to you. It really depends on what really works for you in this case. Okay, you also have cash on delivery. So cash on delivery is also another, I would say another option you want to think about. So cash on delivery lets customers pay directly via cash to the courier. So this was the go-to payment method a few years back, as this provided a sense of security to the customer. However, since online payment methods now offer better protection against fraud, most customers don't use cash on delivery anymore. So in fact, most dropshippers do not provide cash on delivery payment methods in their stores, since the transfer can take time and is less safe. So don't actually use that. If you're thinking about it, it's not really the best idea. Because one of the biggest risks of cash on delivery in dropshipping is fraud, because fraudulent customers can cancel orders when the order is on its way or out for delivery. At such times, you have no other option but to accept the cancellation and pay for return shipping out of your pocket. So other than that, courier companies charge extra fees for cash on delivery payment methods, since they accept payments on your behalf. Here is the bonus I want to share with you. If you're still here, I want to really have a quick conversation to think about how to choose the best payment method for your dropshipping store. I mean, do you have one dropshipping store? Do you have multiple ones? Where are you located? Okay, what kind of niche are we talking about? What kind of transaction volumes are we talking about? What kind of cash inflows and cash outflows are we talking about? What is your flow, your revenue flow every single month? Talk to me about that. Okay, now to choose the best payment method for your dropshipping store, you must consider ease of use, transaction fees, payout times, payment options, and multi-currency support, because those 5 elements are quite essential in terms of solidifying your business from not only a customer perspective, but also from an operational perspective. Let's talk about the ease of use. I mean, the whole point of having a payment gateway is to make the checkout process as smooth as possible, right? So if you integrate a gateway that is not convenient for your users, you will see fewer sales and increased abandoned carts. And the Lord knows we don't like this abandoned carts when it comes to dropshipping. Okay, and so you also have to think about the cost. So you need to consider the cost when using a payment gateway. I'm not talking about just a simple cost though, the total cost, the holistic cost, because this can eat into your profits. Most payment methods they just charge a setup fee, a monthly fee, and a transaction fee. So it's best to compare pricing models of different payment gateways before choosing the right fit for your business. Also, I want you to consider a payout time. So a customer's payment may be approved immediately, but the money can be held for a few hours to days before it reaches your account. So that this payout time varies for each payment service provider. So many of them allow you to set up a payout schedule. So it's best to research before you integrate a payment method. What about the types of cards allowed? So almost all payments gateways accept American Express, MasterCard, and Visa credit cards. However, big payment gateways like Stripe and PayPal also accept lesser known card types such as, let's say, Dinner Club, okay, and a Union Pay card. And make a list of the card your target audience commonly uses and check whether the payment gateway that you have thought about can actually accept them, okay? For instance, if you are selling, let's say if you are selling in Germany, make sure the payment provider accepts Klarna payments. Also think about multi-currency support. If you're selling globally, choosing a payment provider that supports transactions in several currencies is really crucial, okay? So that's why you want to make sure the gateway you choose allows customers to pay in their local currency. They have to be able to pay that. Like if customers see that they have to actually transfer the money into a foreign currency, they're not going to make the payment. They will actually just abandon the card, which is loss of revenue for you. So don't do this. Here is a winner strategy for you here. So when we talk about the safest payment method for dropshipping sellers, you want to think about PayPal, okay? PayPal is really, really what it is. And one thing I want to say here is that PayPal is number one, but just keep in mind that almost all the popular payment providers are safe for your dropshipping store. But it's possible that some will reject your application once they know that you are a dropshipper. That's because these payment gateways consider dropshipping a risky business, as the chances of chargebacks are high. That's why it's best to do your due diligence before finalizing a payment provider, okay? If you're selling, let's say if you're selling restricted products, for example, the chances of rejections are even higher. So to find out what restricted products are and how to advertise them, you need to actually read more on the internet to see exactly what works for you. So safe payment methods for dropshipping sellers, in our experience, are Stripe, Shopify Payments, Amazon Pay, Skrill, and authorize.net. Okay, so this is what it is now. Here is an overview I want you to pay attention to before we close today's conversation. One thing you need to really think about when we talk about payment gateways in terms of dropshipping, you need to understand you don't have to pay for dropshipping products before selling them. Only when a customer places an order in your store do you pay the supplier for the dropshipping products. The supplier will then pack and ship the order to your customer, okay? And so the person, like, people ask sometimes who pays for shipping when dropshipping. The owner of the dropshipping store pays for shipping. The supplier packs and dispatches the order using a pre-discussed courier company and bills you for it. Alternatively, if the supplier permits, you can arrange a private courier instead of using the supplier's courier. And so when we talk about dropshipping, you also need to think about the fact that payment gateways allow you to actually streamline the process, so you don't have to receive cash on delivery, for example. Like, chances are, if you're doing dropshipping, you're probably somewhere in Oklahoma, and you're just selling to a customer base in Beijing, or somewhere based in Johannesburg, South Africa. So when you have this sort of geography to cover, it's just a lot better to do everything online and not do anything do anything electronically speaking, and not do anything like with cash with cash involved. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just talking to you about the dropshipping payments. And so we had a quick convo about the review. I give you the review, the approach you need to pay attention to, the steps you need to follow, the bonus that I really believe that will help you a lot, the winner strategy, and the overview. Thank you. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.